Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think for a moment, what is man's greatest need? Not his greatest want, not his deepest desire, but his most essential, undeniable, and irreplaceable need. Some may say money, others power, some may think love, and others knowledge. But I submit to you today that the greatest need of man is neither of these things. It is something deeper, something more powerful. Something that when absent leads to frustration, confusion, and destruction. Purpose is the only thing that gives meaning to existence. Without it, life is just motion without meaning, activity without direction, and events without reason. A man without purpose is like a ship without a compass, adrift on the ocean of life, vulnerable to every storm, susceptible to every wind, and easily led astray by the waves of uncertainty. When purpose is unknown, abuse is inevitable. Look at the world today. Depression is rising, suicide rates are climbing, wealth increases, yet contentment decreases. Knowledge expands, yet wisdom declines. Why? Because men have built lives around pleasure, possessions, and power, yet still feel empty. The soul cannot be fed by things, nor can identity be defined by titles. A rich man can be empty. A powerful man can be lost. A famous man can be broken. Because what man truly needs is not just to exist, but to know why he exists. Purpose is the reason for creation. Nothing was made without intent. The manufacture of a product determines its function before it is even created. A chair exists to be sat on. A pen exists to write. A bird was designed to fly. And you, yes, you were created with a divine assignment, an intentional design, and a purpose that predates your birth. Consider this. Before a building is built, the architect has a blueprint. Before a car is made, the engineer has a design. Purpose precedes existence. You were born because there was a purpose for you to fulfill. And until you discover that purpose, life will remain a puzzle with missing pieces. When man does not know his purpose, he misuses his life. This is why people chase after things that cannot satisfy. They run after money, but wealth without purpose creates corruption. They pursue relationships, but love without purpose leads to pain. They seek power, but authority without purpose results in oppression. So how do you find your purpose? You don't invent it, you discover it. Purpose is not something you create, it is something you were created for. And the only way to know the purpose of a thing is to consult the one who made it. A product does not define its own purpose. A phone does not tell you what it was made for. The manufacturer does. A car does not decide its function. The designer does. And you, my friend, cannot define your purpose outside of the one who created you. Your purpose is locked inside the mind of your maker. The tragedy of life is not death. The greatest tragedy is a life lived without knowing why it was given. Cemeteries are filled with books never written, songs never sung, businesses never started, dreams never pursued. The wealthiest place on earth is not the oil fields of the Middle East or the diamond mines of Africa. It is the graveyard where so much untapped potential lies buried. But you are still here. That means your purpose is still alive. It means there is still something in you that the world needs. You are not an accident. You are not randomly placed on this earth. You were sent, designed, and crafted with intentionality. The question is, will you discover why? Man's greatest need is not food, not money, not recognition. His greatest need is to know why he was born. And once he discovers it, everything changes. Purpose gives meaning to pain, direction to dreams, and fulfillment to life itself. Find your purpose and you will find your power. Live your purpose and you will never live in regret. Man's greatest need is purpose, not money, power, or pleasure. Without purpose, life becomes meaningless. And people fall into frustration, confusion, and self-destruction. Everything in creation has a purpose, including you. Just as a chair is made to be sat on and a bird is designed to fly, every human being was created with a unique purpose. When purpose is unknown, misuse is inevitable. Many people chase after money, relationships, or power, but without purpose, these things lead to corruption, pain, and oppression rather than fulfillment. Purpose is not invented, it is discovered. You do not decide your purpose, it was determined before you were born. The only way to truly understand your purpose is to seek the one who created you. The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but living without knowing your purpose. The graveyard is full of untapped potential. Books never written, songs never sung, and dreams never realized. Finding and living in your purpose brings true fulfillment. Purpose gives meaning to challenges, direction to dreams, and power to your existence. When you discover why you were created, you will live a life of impact, passion, and legacy. Man's greatest need is purpose, not money, power, or pleasure. This statement challenges the very foundation of how most people live their lives. Many believe that if they acquire enough wealth, attain high positions, or experience enough pleasure, they will find fulfillment. Yet history and personal experience prove otherwise. Some of the wealthiest, most powerful, and most celebrated individuals in the world have admitted to feeling empty, lost, and without direction. This is because none of these external achievements can satisfy the deep internal longing for meaning. Money is necessary for survival, but it cannot fulfill the soul. A person can accumulate vast amounts of wealth, buy luxury homes, own businesses, and travel the world, yet still feel a void inside. This is why some of the richest people on earth suffer from depression, substance abuse, and even suicidal thoughts. Wealth alone does not give life meaning. It provides comfort but not purpose. The same can be said about power. Throughout history, rulers, kings, and world leaders have sought dominance, believing that control over people and resources would bring satisfaction. But many of them died lonely, paranoid, and disillusioned because power without purpose is destructive. Pleasure is another false source of fulfillment. People chase entertainment, relationships, and indulgence, thinking these things will bring lasting happiness. However, pleasure is temporary. The excitement of a new experience fades, the thrill of success diminishes, and the search for the next source of pleasure becomes endless. When people live for pleasure alone, they often find themselves trapped in addiction, constantly seeking more, but never feeling truly satisfied. Purpose, on the other hand, provides a foundation for true fulfillment. It answers the question, why am I here? When a person understands their purpose, everything else in life gains direction. Work is no longer just a means to make money, it becomes a mission. Relationships are no longer just about companionship, they become partnerships in fulfilling a greater assignment. Even struggles and challenges take on new meaning because they are seen as necessary steps in a purposeful journey. A person without purpose drifts through life, reacting to circumstances rather than creating their destiny. They may achieve great things but still feel lost. This is why so many people who seem to have everything, money, power, influence, still feel empty. They have mastered the art of acquiring things, but have failed to discover why they exist. The tragedy is that society often teaches people to chase success without first defining what true success is. Many define success as wealth, status, or popularity, but success without purpose is an illusion. A person who builds a multi-million-dollar company but feels unfulfilled is not successful. A celebrity with millions of followers but no sense of purpose is not truly happy. A politician with power but no vision to serve humanity is not truly great. True success is tied to purpose. A man or woman walking in their purpose may not always have the most money, the highest status, or the most recognition, but they will have something greater: fulfillment. Purpose brings joy that wealth cannot buy, peace that power cannot provide, and meaning that pleasure cannot sustain. Understanding that purpose is man's greatest need shifts everything. It forces one to stop chasing temporary satisfaction and start seeking deeper meaning. It pushes individuals to ask, why was I created? What is my assignment on this earth? These are the questions that truly matter. Because when a person discovers their purpose, they unlock their true potential and experience life at its fullest. Everything in creation has a purpose, including you. This is a profound truth that governs the universe. Nothing exists by accident, and nothing was created without intent. From the smallest insect to the largest galaxy, everything functions according to a specific design. The sun was created to give light, and the ocean to sustain marine life, and the trees to produce oxygen. Each element in creation has a reason for its existence, and human beings are no exception. If everything around us has a purpose, it is impossible to believe that human life, the most intelligent and complex of all creations, exists without one. The idea that people are simply random beings with no specific function contradicts both nature and logic. A manufacturer does not create a product without first determining its function. A carpenter does not build a chair without the intention for it to be sat on. A phone is designed to communicate, a vehicle to transport, and a book to inform or entertain. Purpose always precedes creation. Just as an inventor knows the purpose of their invention before it is built, you were created with an intentional design. Before you were born, there was a reason for your existence. You were not an accident of biology, nor were you placed on earth randomly. Your life was planned, and your purpose was established before you took your first breath. Many people struggle with feelings of insignificance because they have not been taught this fundamental truth. They compare themselves to others, measure their worth by external achievements, or believe they have no value because they do not fit society's definition of success. But self-worth is not determined by appearance, status, or financial gain. It is rooted in purpose. A person's true value comes from their reason for being. A bird is not valuable because of its feathers, but because of its ability to fly. A seed is not valuable because of its size, but because of the tree it has the potential to become. When people do not know their purpose, they live below their potential. They may go through life feeling lost, unfulfilled, or directionless. This is why so many people work jobs they hate, engage in destructive behaviors, or feel a constant sense of emptiness. They are functioning outside of their design. A fish cannot thrive on land because it was created to swim. A plane that never takes off is not fulfilling its purpose. Likewise, when human beings fail to discover their purpose, they struggle to find true fulfillment. Discovering purpose changes everything. It brings clarity, motivation, and direction. Life stops being a random series of events and becomes a meaningful journey. Decisions become easier because they are guided by a clear vision. Relationships become more meaningful because they are aligned with destiny. Even challenges take on a new perspective because they are seen as part of the process rather than pointless struggles. One of the greatest tragedies in life is not death, but living without knowing why you were born. So many people live and die without ever discovering their true assignment. The world is full of buried dreams, untapped potential, and unfulfilled destinies. Yet the fact that you are alive means your purpose is still waiting to be fulfilled. You have a reason for being here. There is something you are meant to accomplish, something only you can do. Understanding that you were created for a purpose is the first step toward living a life of significance. It is not about what you own, where you come from, or how much recognition you receive. It is about fulfilling the assignment for which you were placed on this earth. Everything in creation has a purpose, including you. And when you discover it, you will finally understand the true meaning of life. When purpose is unknown, misuse is inevitable. This principle applies to everything in life. If you do not know the purpose of something, you will either neglect it, abuse it, or use it in a way that leads to destruction. A car is designed for transportation, but if someone does not understand how to drive it, they may crash it. A knife is created for cutting, but if misused, it can cause harm. A medicine is meant to heal, but if taken incorrectly, it can be deadly. The same is true for human life. When people do not understand their purpose, they misuse their time, their talents, their relationships, and even their own bodies. Look at the world today. There is an epidemic of brokenness, addiction, depression, and self-destruction. People engage in harmful behaviors, chase empty pursuits, and make choices that lead to pain and regret. Why? Because they do not know their purpose. A person who does not understand their worth will give themselves away cheaply. A man who does not recognize his potential will settle for mediocrity. A woman who does not know her identity will allow others to define her. When people do not know why they were created, they are vulnerable to manipulation, deception, and misuse. Consider a young person with extraordinary talent, but no sense of purpose. Without direction, that talent can be wasted. Instead of using their gift to build, inspire, or create, they may use it for selfish gain or even destruction. History is full of gifted individuals who wasted their potential because they lacked purpose. Some of the greatest minds ended up lost in addiction. Some of the most powerful leaders used their influence for corruption. And some of the most talented artists, musicians, and thinkers died unfulfilled because they misused their gift. The same principle applies to relationships. When people do not understand the purpose of relationships, they abuse them. Love turns into control, commitment turns into convenience, and friendships are reduced to transactions. Marriages fail not just because of external problems, but because many enter relationships without understanding their true purpose. A relationship without purpose is fragile. It is based on feelings rather than vision, convenience rather than commitment. But when two people understand the purpose of their union, they build something lasting. Purpose also affects how people handle time. Time is one of the most valuable resources on earth, yet many waste it because they do not understand its purpose. Every day is a gift, every hour an opportunity, every moment a chance to grow, build, and contribute. But when people lack purpose, they waste time on distractions, meaningless activities, and things that do not add value to their lives. They procrastinate, live in regret, or remain stuck in cycles of unproductivity. When purpose is unknown, even power is misused. A leader without purpose becomes a tyrant. A business person without purpose becomes greedy. A government without purpose becomes oppressive. Power in the hands of someone without a clear sense of responsibility leads to destruction. But when power is combined with purpose, it is used to uplift, transform, and bring positive change. This is why discovering purpose is not just important, it is essential. Purpose protects from misuse. It sets boundaries. It gives direction. It prevents people from being wasted by distractions, addictions, and false pursuits. If you do not know the purpose of something, you have two choices: misuse it or discover it. And the only way to discover the purpose of anything is to go to its creator. A product does not define its own function, the manufacturer does. Likewise, human beings cannot define their own purpose apart from the one who created them. Misuse leads to pain, regret, and unfulfilled potential. Purpose leads to impact, fulfillment, and true success. The choice is simple: discover why you were created, or risk becoming another example of wasted potential. Purpose is not invented, it is discovered. This truth is one of the most important principles in life. Many people believe they must create their own purpose as if it is something they can manufacture through personal ambition, career choices, or social influence. But purpose is not something we decide, it is something we were designed for. Just as a product does not determine its own function, human beings do not determine their own reason for existence. They discover it. A chair does not decide it wants to be sat on. It was made for that purpose. A car does not choose to provide transportation. It was designed with that function in mind. A microphone does not randomly decide to amplify sound. It was built for that reason. In the same way, you were created with a specific function in mind before you were even born. You are not a mistake. You are not an accident. You were sent into this world for a purpose that was already predetermined. This means that true fulfillment does not come from creating your own purpose, but from uncovering the purpose that was placed inside you. Many people spend their lives chasing careers, achievements, and recognition, hoping these things will give them a sense of meaning. But no amount of money, fame, or power can give you purpose if you are operating outside of what you were designed to do. The danger of trying to invent your own purpose is that you risk spending your entire life pursuing something that was never meant for you. You may achieve success by the world standards and still feel empty. You may acquire wealth and still feel lost. You may have influence but lack direction. This is why so many people, despite having everything society considers valuable, still battle depression, anxiety, and feelings of unfulfillment. They have been running a race they were never meant to run. Purpose is not found through external achievements. It is discovered through internal understanding. The only way to truly know your purpose is to seek the one who created you. Just as an inventor knows the function of their creation, your creator knows exactly why you exist. You were designed with intention, and that intention is what gives your life meaning. The process of discovering purpose requires reflection, seeking wisdom, and looking beyond the surface of life. It is not something that happens automatically, nor is it always obvious. Some people go through life following the expectations of others, parents, teachers, society, only to reach a point where they realize they have been living someone else's idea of success rather than walking in their true purpose. Purpose is often revealed through passion, natural talents, and the problems you are drawn to solve. The things that excite you, the abilities that come naturally to you, and the injustices that move you to action are often clues to what you were created to do. When you operate in your purpose, work no longer feels like work. It becomes a mission, a calling, something that brings joy and fulfillment rather than stress and frustration. One of the greatest tragedies in life is to spend years climbing a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. This is what happens when people chase personal ambition instead of divine purpose. They may reach the top, but they do not feel complete because they have been pursuing something that was never meant to fulfill them. Discovering your purpose changes everything. It brings clarity to your decisions, focus to your energy, and direction to your life. It protects you from distractions and helps you avoid paths that may look good but do not align with what you were truly created for. You do not have to create your purpose. You were born with it. Your responsibility is to seek it, uncover it, and walk in it. Because when you live in your true purpose, you will experience a fulfillment that nothing else in this world can provide. The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but living without knowing your purpose. Death is inevitable. It is a transition that every human must face. But what is far worse than death is a life that is wasted, a life spent wandering without direction, without meaning, and without fulfilling the reason for which it was created. The true tragedy is not how long or short a person's life is, but whether or not they lived with purpose. They wake up every day, go through routines, chase money, seek pleasure, and accumulate material things, yet deep inside, they feel empty. They exist, but they do not truly live. A person without purpose is like a ship without a compass, constantly moving but going nowhere. No matter how successful they appear to be, without purpose, their achievements are hollow. History is filled with stories of individuals who had wealth, fame, and influence, but admitted to feeling unfulfilled. Some of the richest people in the world have taken their own lives. Some of the most powerful leaders have died in misery. Some of the most talented artists and musicians have battled depression and addiction. Why? Because money, power, and recognition do not equal fulfillment. A person can have everything society deems valuable and still feel lost if they do not know why they were created. On the other hand, there are people who may not be wealthy, famous, or celebrated by the world's standards, yet they live with deep fulfillment because they have discovered their purpose. They wake up each day with passion, direction, and a sense of mission. They understand that life is not just about accumulating things, but about making an impact, solving problems, and leaving a legacy. A life without purpose is like a book that was never read, a song that was never sung, or a seed that was never planted. It is full of untapped potential, wasted opportunities, and unfulfilled dreams. The graveyard is the richest place on earth, not because of the people buried there, but because of the ideas, inventions, businesses, books, and visions that never came to life. So many people die without ever realizing what they were truly capable of, not because they lacked talent, but because they never discovered their purpose. Living without purpose is dangerous because it leads to confusion, frustration, and eventually destruction. When people do not know why they exist, they look for meaning in the wrong places. Some turn to substance abuse, thinking they can numb the emptiness inside. Others seek validation from people, believing relationships will give them a sense of worth. Some chase power, thinking control will make them feel significant. But none of these things can replace the deep need for purpose. Purpose gives life direction. It answers the question, why am I here? It turns ordinary existence into a meaningful journey. It transforms pain into growth, struggles into lessons, and time into something valuable. When a person discovers their purpose, they stop wasting time on distractions. They become intentional about their choices, their relationships, and their contributions to the world. Imagine a world where every person knew and lived out their purpose. There would be fewer broken dreams, fewer wasted lives, and fewer people living in frustration. Instead, there would be fulfillment, joy, and a sense of meaning that goes beyond material success. The greatest tragedy is not a short life, but a life that was never truly lived. Your greatest responsibility is not just to exist, but to discover why you exist. You were not created to just go through the motions of life. You were designed with intention, gifted with unique abilities, and placed on this earth for a reason. Do not let your life become another untold story in the graveyard. Seek your purpose, live it out, and leave behind a legacy that will outlive you. Success is not measured by how much you have, but by how much you fulfill your purpose. The world has conditioned people to believe that success is defined by wealth, status, and power. Many spend their entire lives chasing material possessions, thinking that if they accumulate enough money, gain enough recognition, or reach the highest level of influence, they will be considered successful. But true success is not about what you acquire, it is about who you become and what you accomplish according to the purpose you were created for. A wealthy man who has millions in the bank but dies without fulfilling his purpose is not truly successful. A famous celebrity with millions of followers but no sense of direction is not truly successful. A powerful leader who rules nations but does not positively impact lives is not truly successful. Why? Because success is not about external achievements. It is about alignment with purpose. A tree is successful when it produces the fruit it was created to bear. A fish is successful when it swims in water, because that is what it was designed to do. A bird is successful when it flies, not because it owns a nest, but because it is fulfilling its natural function. Likewise, human beings are successful when they live out their unique purpose, not when they simply accumulate things. Many people chase money thinking financial wealth will validate their success. But how many wealthy individuals still feel empty? Money is a tool, not a purpose. It can provide comfort, but it cannot give meaning to life. A person can be financially rich, but spiritually bankrupt. They can own everything the world has to offer and still feel like something is missing. Others believe success is about status, having a title, a high position, or public recognition. But history has shown that status alone does not bring fulfillment. Kings, presidents, and CEOs have all reached the top and still admitted to feeling lost. A title without purpose is just a label. It may bring respect, but it does not bring true joy. True success is about impact. It is about how much of your potential you develop, how many lives you influence, and how effectively you carry out the reason for which you were created. A teacher who transforms young minds is successful, even if they do not have millions of dollars. A parent who raises children with wisdom and love is successful, even if they never become famous. A scientist who discovers a cure, an artist who inspires through creativity, an entrepreneur who builds a business that serves people. All of these are examples of true success because they align with purpose. Success is also not measured by how long you live, but by what you accomplish with the time you are given. Some people live for 80 years but never fulfill their purpose, while others live for 30 years and leave a lasting legacy. The impact of life is not determined by duration but by contribution. A short, purpose-driven life is more meaningful than a long, wasted one. When you understand that success is tied to purpose, you stop comparing yourself to others. You realize that your journey is unique and your measure of success is based on how well you fulfill your own assignment, not how much you accumulate. This brings freedom, clarity, and focus. Success is not about chasing external validation, but about fulfilling why you were created. It is about making the most of your gifts, serving others, and leaving a mark that lasts beyond your lifetime. True success is not in how much you have, but in how well you fulfill your purpose. Life is not just about existence, it is about purpose. Every person was created for a reason, designed with intention, and equipped with unique gifts to fulfill a specific assignment. The greatest need of humanity is not wealth, fame, or power. It is purpose. Without it, people wander aimlessly, waste their potential, and live unfulfilled lives. But when purpose is discovered and pursued, life takes on meaning, passion, and direction. A person who does not know their purpose is vulnerable to misuse, distractions, and empty pursuits. They may achieve temporary success, but still feel lost. True fulfillment does not come from external accomplishments. It comes from living in alignment with the reason for which one was created. Purpose is not invented, it is discovered. And when a person finds their true assignment, they experience a sense of significance that no amount of money or recognition can replace. The greatest tragedy is not death, but living without knowing why you were born. The world is full of wasted potential, dreams that were never realized, talents that were never used, and destinies that were never fulfilled. Success is not measured by possessions, but by how well one fulfills their purpose. A person may have everything the world offers, but if they never fulfill their purpose, they have failed. You were not created to simply go through life accumulating things and chasing temporary pleasures. You were designed to contribute, impact, and fulfill an assignment that only you can complete. Your time on earth is limited, and the greatest responsibility you have is to discover why you are here and to walk in that purpose with all your heart. Because when you do, you will not just exist, you will live